Okay.
Welcome to the GITCG weekly for Europe, the first one in 3.4. My name's Louis. I'm joined by Waifu, and yeah, we have a bit of a meta shakeup.
I guess shakeup is a bit of an understatement. It's a massive change, to be honest. Now that we do not have Magu Kenki anymore. Well, not like
Well,
entirely
there's
gone.
one. There was none in the Americas earlier today, but one made it into the EU tournament, and it's piloted by Kevin Z, who won the last one. So I'm hoping we don't see Mabukenki win today.
Well, that means he still has hope. And if a player that good brings it, maybe he can take the win. I hope not. I'm bored of seeing Magu Kenki, but maybe it's a different twist. Who knows?
Yeah, let's hope. Anyway, big changes to the meta overall. As I predicted, Xingqiu jumping up because the one class of characters that's really core to GITCG is the characters that you can set up a burst, go all in on setting up the burst turn 1 and then blast out the burst turn 2. That used to be Yoimiya, that used to be Xingqiu, Bennett to a lesser extent. And after Yoimiya got nerfed, I think Xingqiu is next in line for the throne. Beidou now as well.
Yeah. They basically have the same function, but just different elementals. And Yoimiya takes 2 turns, while Xingqiu has 3 uses. So yeah, you're right. So since Yoimiya is now nerfed, she takes way longer to set up, and which means that she is way susceptible to being straight up killed before she can set up or being switched around. So yeah, Xingqiu is definitely the second best option beforehand. Now Xingqiu is the best option for these kinds of strategies. So yeah, I'm excited to see more Xingqiu, more variations.
Yeah, we only have one Xingqiu freeze deck as far as I can tell, one Ayaka freeze. Maybe I overlooked some Ganyu freeze. I'll be honest. I've not checked too much, but as far as I remember, EU not really the Ganyu country. We had one Ganyu list last time, and we have 2 this time. So yeah, we're more seeing sort of these. Klee obviously jumping to the top as well really works well with Xingqiu, being auto attack based, being able to apply pyro with the autos. Or sorry, normal attack. I'm still League of Legends brain,
Yeah, I also refer to it as auto attacks too. I feel you.
Anyway, being able to pump out sort of 4 damage with a charge attack there, and Klee overall has been accepted pretty well by the community.
Yeah, quite likely. Well, I've seen that we have 9 Klee decks here in this tournament, so we're going to see quite a lot of Klees today. And speaking of seeing games, we are jumping into a game here.
Just to be clear, today we only have 1 deck per person, so all the numbers are a bit deflated. We only have 12 monas. Obviously, all decks are a lot more. There used to be a lot more last time. We only have 21 decks instead of. Sorry, we have 24 decks. Last week we had 42 decks, but 21 participants. Anyway, we have a Klee mirror. Klee Vape mirror, but very different takes. So on the one side we have Mirror Maiden Klee Vaporize, playing mostly around the Mirror Maiden as far as I can tell. Just trying to set up those huge hydro explosions, pivoting around that, having hydro resonance to, sustain a bit more. Where on the other side we have the full all-in version with Bennett, pyro resonance, the +3 damage there, and then Xingqiu to just provide as much hydro as possible.
Yeah, I mean, in these 2 decks, I think the main thing is Klee is the centerpiece of both decks, right? Klee is the main damage dealer here, and both of the other characters are just supportive. Now, even though they both have similar game plans, they both can have different ways of playing around this. Yeah, like, as you said, Mirror Maiden is a more slower type. You can sustain chunk damage. You can sustain like maybe against the Ganyu matchup. You have better chance against that charge attacks. But on the other hand, the Klee deck with the Bennett here actually can just straight up one shot you before you can heal. So let's see how this plays out.
Yeah, just to be clear, you can stack Pyro Resonance and Adeptus Temptation. So you can do +5 damage on a reaction.
Yeah. Klee is quite scary. I mean, I also like the design of Klee. Like, the normal attack, charge attack mechanic is quite unique. You gotta spend extra brain cells to pilot it.
Yeah,
But
lots of.
I like those kinds of decks. You know, takes more skill to pilot.
Yeah. I feel like overall the meta is like very unclear right now. We have a lot of like we have very few units that really like command like a sizable share. It's pretty much Mona, Xingqiu, and Klee still being up there at like 30% plus, and the rest a lot less. Like Bennett is 24, official 24, and then down to 12 already. Of percent of like representation. So everybody's just trying to figure out what the new meta is going to be right now, and it's going to take some weeks, honestly, to really nail that down.
Yeah, usually in this kinds of situation, you'll see the decks that didn't get hit take the center stage. We don't see any of the freeze taking hits. We don't see any of the super conducts and the animo decks. So I'm expecting to see more of that. But then again, we're still trying new cards. Klee and Brito just released, so I guess we'll see more of them. Speaking of Klee, this is a different matchup because we're seeing a Sino.
Yeah, we had to switch matchup because of the lag that we experienced. It's kind of sad, but you know that's how it is sometimes. And we're seeing Ganyu, sort of a Ganyu freeze core with Ganyu and Xingqiu, but Sino for the cleanup. It seems like. Although we did see kind of Ganyu just being used right at the front, dealing some charge attack damage, and then just switching out. So not really the typical like Xingqiu setup that you'd usually see. It's more Ganyu just trying to create an early advantage, and Xingqiu just and then being set up. I'm not entirely sure if I agree with that logic, but we'll see how it works.
I mean, I can see it working. You know, Xingqiu can set up, and then Sino can clean up after that, and Ganyu is like maybe the backup plan, dealing the AOE damage, and maybe if she lives long enough, can set up that burst. But I agree. I'm not sure what you're supposed to do with this. I see the core of the Sino Xingqiu, but other than that,
I feel like what with the trying here is sort of like a very like a variable approach of like if I'm into a matchup where freezing obviously just triples the deck, I'm going to play Xingqiu into Ganyu. But if I just if it's better to just clean up with Sino, I play Ganyu first. I'm just not sure the game plan is like strong enough to sustain that, like having Ganyu taken out this early and without any real setup out.
Yeah, especially in that Ganyu is now taken down very early on. Did deal that one charge attack. Let's see if it's enough. And now I think the game plan for Peki here is to just try to set up the Xingqiu ult and hope that Sino can just sweep. Klee still has that cryo stick onto her, so maybe we can trigger that one super conduct, still deals more AoE damage.
Yeah.
Then again,
like,
there's Bennett.
Like with healing, like taking healing and like damage reduction into account, usually you have to deal about like 40 damage to win a game. And Ganyu only being able to deal 9 without really like adding anything else to the board after going down it's not the best position you can be in. But Singtrold is about to come down, and then we'll see what Sino can do. We've got the Gamblers in hand. We got the Lotus Crisp for protection. A lot of dice fixing. I haven't lost yet as well, so maybe Sino can just do the sweep.
Let him cook. Let him cook. I want to see Sino doing some Sino TK things.
Tincture Burst is now down. Rain Swords are active. Next turn is going to be pretty crucial. I mean, it's probably going to decide the game, if I had to guess. Just trying to figure out of what setup to do right now. Opts for the Gamblers instead of the Library. I think that was sort of the deliberation. Do I set up Gamblers, giving that away, or do I set up Library, which also means I don't get the the extra dice fixing from the initial proc, but I also don't have to pay the 1 die for it.
I guess he has enough cards in hand to just tune out the dice he needs at this point of the game.
Yeah, also, toss up and bestest travel companion as well, so opts for the Gamblers instead.
The point of the game is redundant. One thing to note is Sino can't exactly switch in safely. Yes, he has the Lotus Crisp, but other than that,
yeah, he's really looking. He's really looking for to have Singtra being just taken out. I honestly think using the elemental skill is better here. Opts for the normal though, to just use the Rain Swords. I feel like keeping the Rain Swords and setting up more protection for Sino would have been a good idea. But now it's just Sino left, and we'll have to see what he can do. Haven't lost yet.
Haven't lost yet. Can instantly burst here.
Yeah, that's a decent chunk of damage. Burst coming out as well. Keeps the 2 Rain Swords still. Gets the Gambler's proc, and Zen might be in trouble. Honestly.
Considering Zen only has 1 dice. Okay.
Ooh, still has Flower Crisp though. That's huge.
Yeah. We didn't have that. I think Mona.
Yeah.
Down gets another Gambler proc.
There's not enough. There's no resonance dice. You can only really normal attack once more, and it's just 1 damage short to proccing Gamblers. Otherwise, I think that would have just straight up been a win here. Still, though, doesn't mean that Dizen is out of it. Is out of the danger zone yet.
You don't really. Yeah, Zin doesn't have anything to immobilize the Sino. You can force it to switch out and exactly freeze it. So maybe another Lotus Crest might save it. Also, Sino still doesn't have any doesn't have any elemental stick onto him. So either you have to deal 10 damage instantly to Sino. Sino's just going to sweep the whole team. Oh, very nice.
Now let's make one thing clear. We are talking about Pyro Resonance Klee here, so we might have a Pyro Resonance, we might have an Adeptus Temptation, we might have all of that. So dealing 10 damage while still requiring a decent amount of cards is something that that deck can definitely do. So yeah. Let's see here. Okay.
Down. Now Lotus Crisp and 9 health Sino. I know Klee can do 10, but can she do 12?
Haven't lost yet. What do you have? Just the burst? That's not gonna be enough.
Not enough, right? Not enough.
Yeah. Goes up to 6 though. Yeah, right, because Benedict is still up. That's it's 1 too little.
Oh, one off.
I don't think Klee can revenge kill though, so I think two skills on the side of Pecky would do it. Yeah, there's the 1 skill. Superconduct is on 5 now because of the Cleold. Do we have... Actually, what could even deal 5 damage here? Because there's no element on Sino.
Yeah, you can't get this temptation.
Yeah, Sino wins.
Yeah.
Sino sweep! Actually, wait. Oh, it goes up to 4. I think that's... Yeah, that's not enough. He doesn't have element this time. He doesn't have element this time. Ah! And he would die from it himself. Okay, go on an honorable seppuku, okay? Please.
Wait, yeah, Sino still dies to the Mona Phantom.
Yeah, in the end phase. So like, just go out on your own terms.
Oh, very close game.
Damn, goes down to 1 HP. That was fun.
Congratulations to Pecky for winning that one. Very close.
I think Dizen last week went 3-2, but had really good early rounds. So I don't think that was like a low skill game. That was just genuinely that close.
Yeah, it was back and forth. You see Ganyu taken down pretty early, but Xingqiu gets to set up, and Sino gets to kill a few characters. But in the end, he's 1 damage short of killing the Klee. Oh, we have another game, it seems.
Yeah. Being hot swapped into a currently frozen game. But, oh wait, this is just the
initially.
This is Alrado Man versus Hallex again. Sorry, Hallos.
The 2 Klee decks with both Klees down.
Ooh, what? 1 health left on the Mona. Doesn't have enough to probably set up the Mirage again. Meanwhile, Bennett still has ult, is on 7 HP. And... Victory. Okay.
A bit laggy
Bennett
there.
wins. Bennett wins.
Bennett, yeah.
Bennett sweep. I really, like... It was interesting seeing Bennett in the first patch, because he definitely wasn't the best of the sort of setup characters, but he was the most flexible of them. So you saw him always creep like just under the top meta. You saw Bennett with like 10, 15 representations, and none of the decks were the same.
Yeah, I remember.
Everybody just.
Yeah, when like the GITCG was first released, you see a bunch of like Bennett, Mona, and D-Loop decks, and then it evolved from there. Yeah, Bennett's very flexible. You can add damage, you can heal. The fact that it only costs 2 energy burst is really good, even though it costs 4 dice, which is sometimes detrimental for some decks, but usually they can make it work. And being a Pyro character, giving you access to the Pyro Resonance is also pretty good.
Yeah.
Access
like,
to the OT.
And now it's just time to shine, really. Like, we're seeing the Vaporized eggs all over the place. It also brought Mirror Maiden back out of the woodworks. Mirror Maiden actually, like, going into different decks as well. We saw 2 out of the 4-in-1 finishers in America running a Mirror Maiden Sucrose Mona deck, like a Hydro Resonance with a bit more explosive potential, like essentially replacing Jean out of the old double Animo control. And I'm interested to see where that deck can go.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Sacrificing the access to the Aquila Fafonia, that passive healing, for the Hydro Resonance, which is just heal a lot at 1 card cast. Well, there's a payoff there, and Mirror Maiden does give more burst damage, something that double Anima seems to lack.
Yeah, like it had a lot of problems, especially with Geo decks, honestly, being able to put up that many walls, and like you never got to the actual Geo characters.
Yeah, I mean, going back to Bennett a bit, we see like this resurgence of Bennett. I think that's also because of the Yoimiya nerfs. For those who don't know, Yoimiya's energy cost went up from 2 to 3, and the dice cost of the burst is now going up from 3 to 4. Now, I know Yoimiya is like the best at like the setup characters, but now that he's nerfed, Xingqiu was second best. But for Pyro specifically, you only have like either Bennett or Xiangling, and while we do see a lot of quite a few Xianglings back in the America tournament, there's like a few
Actually,
trying to replace Yoimiya, I guess. But yeah, Bennett's
actually,
like a better option.
what's been happening a bit is Klee's actually been filling that role now.
Yes.
It's a little more, like, it's a little less consistent, and like especially in the overload decks, it doesn't really work as well because essentially your opponent can trigger when the overload procs. But just being in terms of being able to spread pyro, like Cleave's really good at that.
You don't have the access of like that Yoimiya OTK Minty Roll Gambler Dream, but yeah, Klee,
Yeah, like it was all nerfed.
Yeah.
It's over.
Agree or disagree? Well, I like to see changes in the meta, and it seems like Klee is seeing a lot of experimentations. And I would like to... Actually, while we're here, waiting for the next match, how about we talk about the new tournament format?
Yeah, we're essentially having our weekly tournaments built up to an invitational at the end. So you have 5 weekly tournaments to qualify for the invitational. As far as I remember, it's your best 2 tournaments are counted, and then you need to have at least 8 wins from those tournaments. So you need to go 4-1 twice, or 5-0, and then 3-2 another time. The best 2 tournaments are rated, so like if you go 1-2, 1-4 once, you still have the chance to come back from that. And yeah, ultimately we're gonna have a big tournament at the end with all the best players, and hopefully some prizes as well. We're working on that as well. It's gonna be great.
The prize is gonna be a surprise, so we can't exactly reveal that yet, but yeah, it's going to be exciting. All of the weeklies will be 5 rounds with best of ones, and it'll culminate into a single big major, which is going to be, I believe, a best of 3. Bringing 2 decks.
I don't think we have it nailed down yet in terms of the format for the major. The only thing that seems to be clear is we are doing single elimination, so you get 1 shot. But other than that, we're still a bit up in the air. I presume we're going to see best of 3 at least in some stages of the tournament, because I genuinely don't want to see a big invitational being decided in the finals with a best of 1.
Yeah, it would suck if you just best of 1 and then lose. It's like the best of the best. That's where that's what major is all about. Getting players that are fighting hard every week, or maybe they just did have 3 good weeks and didn't play the other 2. Who knows? It's like culmination of their hard work, and I would like to see them playing their best and having the most opportunity for them to prove that they are the best. And usually that's best of 3 or something like double elimination. So yeah, keep your eye on that. If you want to join up the major, we still have there's 5 weeks of this tournament for each region. So don't forget to sign up. Also, week 4, we're having a special event of specific like deck restrictions. We haven't revealed much about that yet, but that's going to be fun, I believe.
I sadly haven't heard much about it as well, so I can't spill the beans either. But I'm always for special format tournaments. It brings out the biggest amount of creativity out of people. Just having extra restrictions, you can't really rely on the old wisdom anymore. It's kind of what we're seeing this week. It's a totally new format, and people are bringing whatever they think might take over it now.
Yeah, again, it's like start of the patch. People are still figuring things out. People's trying new things. I mean, they want to play with the new stuff, which is Klee and maybe Beidou. Yeah, I want to see how the meta develops. I think we're going to see more of the old stuff that didn't get nerfed, but Klee seems pretty strong. So I would like to see more Klee, I guess. I mean, I hope it doesn't get boring as like Magu Kenki, but
Oh,
then
how
again,
could Klee get boring?
I mean, at least Klee's matches don't last like 11 rounds or something.
You have seen nothing
I'd rather
yet.
watch a lot of aggro than a lot of control.
I'm a bit worried because like the healing tools really didn't get nerfed, but a lot of damage got nerfed. So I'm hoping we're not just gonna see like the big tubby packages, like 16 healing cathedrals, Aquila Favodia, Hydro Resonance, just take over the meta.
I hope the direction of the meta isn't going that way, but I can definitely see it too.
Yeah, let's hope not. To be fair, it wasn't really the strongest deck, and it has definite counters. Like even with the Mirror Maiden, it is kind of difficult to go up against. For example, the deck that won Asia last week, the Ningguang Lava
Ningguang.
Churl Rodea deck. With also running a bunch of healing. Yeah, also taking 8 turns, but like not quite as much, and has more explosive potential. So I'm hoping that it goes faster against faster decks, you know.
So, I do hope a control text gets faster a little bit at least.
No Ningguang today, funnily enough. People have kind of given up on Geo in general, considering that Minty Meteorals got nerfed, and like I feel like the Minty Meteoral nerfed like hit Noel harder than even Ayaka.
Yeah, I mean Noel's sweep usually relies on that, one turn Minty roll gambler turn. More so than Ayamiya, since Ayamiya still has backup plans. Noel decks usually like Noel is the carry. Noel is the star of the show, and if she can't do that, I mean, I guess you don't have. What is your other game plan? Maybe just tank up with Noel. We see other variants like with
it's not easy.
Magu Kenki, but now that Magu Kenki is nerfed.
Yeah,
but
we are seeing the deck list of our previous game. It was surprisingly no Adeptus Temptation on the side of Desmond. Is purely relying on the Pyro Resonance for extra damage, and most of the time that's enough. But like as we saw, being able to deal 10 damage sometimes is just what you need.
And the option and the threat being there is what's good. Like Klee just suddenly dealing 10 damage can catch your opponent off guard and screw up with their plans.
Yeah.
But then again, Adeptus Temptation plus Pyro Dice is a lot of dice. So
one thing that I think is pretty interesting is the adaptation of Sino decks, because it used to be like all about the Yoimiya Sino overload decks, and I think what's happening here right now is because you cannot deal enough damage in 2 autos really, 2 normal attacks anymore to take out a unit and proc gamblers and keep going. I think that's why we're seeing Ganyu, honestly. Just being able to deal 3 damage across the board, softening everyone up so they can actually be taken out in those 2 normal attacks and keep the chain of like gamblers going.
Yeah, I guess I can see it. Ganyu being able to deal that massive AoE damage in 1 attack. Sure, 5 dice is a lot, but then again, it's usually worth it totaling if it hits every single character, all 3. Usually it stacks up quite a lot, and then Sino can just sweep after that. But it is quite... I don't know. If one character goes down, usually the whole plan is... your whole plan is screwed.
Like, it is kind of interesting that we're like seeing Sino Superconduct. I'm not sure like in what game. Like, I'd like to see this deck in a different matchup. Just seeing if if we see the adaptation to play a lot more around Ganyu and being able to dish out damage that way.
Yeah, I would see more. Well, last game it was unfortunate that Ganyu was taken out so early. I mean, that's the power of Klee, right? You can just having that big
Yeah,
damage.
I feel like that was the
out
plan,
there.
though.
So yeah, I want to see it in a matchup like, let's say, against Double Animal, where maybe it's a little bit harder to deal AoE damage, or maybe against something like, let's say, a different variation of the Klee decks, because I've seen like Klee with Klee with like Overload, Klee with earlier we saw Klee with also Mirror Maiden.
Yeah, so Klee with burning as well sometimes. It's interesting. But Kojo says we can take a look at the bracket, and I'd actually like to see, or maybe not the bracket. I think it's just the round one results. So let's see how the Magukenki did. Actually, Magukenki won. No, oh no.
Oh no. Yeah, Magukenki is still. Well, I'm not saying it's bad. Magukenki still has a place. Like, you can build a deck around Magukenki and it can still work.
Yeah.
Kevin Z is bringing the Sign official variant, which I'm not sure how. I guess you have like access to a lot of super conducts. I hope we get to see. We get to spectate one of the matches. Like Kevin
most
Z
of our named players doing pretty well. Like the players I remember, like Arado Man going 4-1, Martin Z going 4-1 last week. Interesting though, we see Carano fall round 1 to Asphodylon. I don't know. I don't know that name, and I don't think he's been around much. So I'm very interested to see like what he brings to the table. Let me actually look up what his deck is.
His deck is the nerfed Yoimiya.
Oh, interesting. With Power Agent and Xingqiu. Essentially, Power Agent all in that case? Or maybe even... Ooh, actually, now that I think about it, we might even be seeing Yoimiya as the carry here. Like, just skill down, and then blasting that way. That's going to be probably what Yoimiya kind of turns into, like less of the get the burst out as fast as possible and then try to blast away with some of the character, but a lot more, build up the burst more slowly, take advantage more of the elemental skill, and just burst like turn 3, turn 4. Her burst now, as far as I remember, deals a combined 12 damage or something, and applies Pyro a bunch as well. So that's a lot.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Yoimiya is capable of doing now. Now that her burst is nerfed, but her normal attack and her elemental skill didn't get hit at all. So maybe we can see a more Yoimiya focused deck. Maybe the Xingqiu in this deck particularly can either go help the Pyro Agent to carry, or get the Yoimiya herself to carry. So yeah, I'm interested to see what they do here, and especially since Yoimiya is the carry, if she can get that burst off, she can basically just pop off, especially with Pyro Agent being able to get that huge burst and tank quite a lot of damage. So yeah, I'm interested to see what he can do next round.
We are still waiting for our next matchup. I'm actually not entirely sure how close we are to that. If we're not, I might suggest taking a short break. But Kojo, can you tell us how close we are to having a new match? Okay, round started, so we're about to jump into a game. Okay. Well, let's let's take a look at like what else we might be able to talk about here. Oh, never mind. We have a game.
Have a game.
We got Resin versus Monero.
It is a D-Luke Hypercarry versus Klee Hypercarry. It's a very similar deck. Very
That's
similar
adorable.
game plan.
That's adorable. I love that. All right, Klee versus the weird grown-up. Go.
And I'd like to mention that Klee is running the talent here. What do you think about the Klee talent? I think it's pretty good, but it is an investment, so yeah, sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. What do you think?
I'll be honest. I've read up on Klee. I have not read up on her talent because I've not seen many people run it. So I've just like kind of hoped that I don't have to talk about it today.
Okay, so Klee's talent is, you know, the stack that gives her the charge attack.
Yeah.
Yeah. The charge attack now deals +1 damage. Oh no! Actually, the charge attack I believe has 2 uses now. I am not mistaken. Let me
Okay, that's pretty good, honestly. But yeah, it takes a lot. So in order for it to amortize, you have to keep Klee on the field a long time. Now you have Bennett, and Mona to pivot around as well. So this deck does have a decent amount of like survivability tools. Let's say that.
Yeah, but on the other hand, both decks also have a lot of burst here. Both decks can just deal 10 damage out of nowhere. So that's scary.
Yeah. Both of these players are 1-0 right now. So they had a decently successful first round. So let's see what they can do. Ooh, bad dice. Bad dice.
I don't want to see that.
It has 2 toss-ups though, so should be good. Should be.
1-5 like a cringe, as we call it.
Also drew the second Klee talent card.
Yeah, I guess that's what sucks about playing talent cards. It's either you usually run 2 or you run none. And if you run 2 and you draw both of them, well, it's a dead card automatically.
Yeah, but I mean, that's how it happens with a lot of cards that are very powerful in very specific situations. Like if you draw 2 Minty Meat rolls, it doesn't really help you that much either. If you draw 2 Gamblers, it doesn't really help. So if it can unleash the power that he wants to, I feel like it might not be that much of a problem. But right now, we're seeing Mona being taken out with 10 health on every character on the D-Luke side.
Yeah, I mean, that's the power of the Pyro Resonance, right? Again, 10 damage out of nowhere.
Yeah. And now, without being able to apply Hydro, like, at all, it's going to be tough for Klee to do much here.
Yeah, I mean, the best that the Klee deck can do is just dealing like 3 or 4 damage maybe every round. But the fact that the NRE is on, plus with that Chef Mao, which we don't see much often anymore. But in this deck specifically, it does give a lot of sustain. You can just get a free food every turn.
Gets you access. It gets you access to Adeptus. It also, like, if you play D-Luke, you're not concerned with, you know, continuously dealing a bit of damage and like. No, you just need to survive until you get to use D-Luke Burst 3 times. That's all you need to do pretty much in a D-Luke deck.
Yeah, it's just playing, just get around, just trying to survive as long as possible until D-Luke can just carry the whole game and just take down every single character your opponent has. And well, it's pretty rough for Resin Q with the Klee deck here without having Mona. Well, Bennett does have the burst here, but I don't know about using it this early.
I think you kind of have to. You need to catch up in damage. Otherwise, D-Luke is just going to, you know, keep hammering down, and it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, So next turn is very crucial for Resident Q here. To make something
Uses the
happen.
haven't lost yet, and then ends turn. Ooh,
Maybe using
that's
it
harsh.
solely for the energy.
Yeah, and he has his burst down right now, so like, at best he can use it really next turn. It reeks a bit of desperation because I think he knows he will not be able to use it by the time Bennett goes down because it really doesn't it's not going to save the game anymore at that point.
Yeah, Resident Q is trying to. I think he's trying to find an opportunity to switch back into Klee. So he's trying to survive as long as possible with the Bennett burst. But I don't know. I think Bennett's not going to live for long here, considering he has the Hydro application on him now.
Let me actually quickly check if Manaro is running Coxout. I'm pretty sure he would be. And at that point, Diluc Burst can come out at any point as soon as you have one energy on Bennett.
Elemental skill from Diluc, a lot of damage there.
Yeah, Diluc is sort of hard to work around, but he does a lot of quick damage when you have him in position.
It takes a little bit of setup, but it's not a very big setup like an Ayamiya deck, for example. Yeah, you just need a few Hydro, a few reactions available, and maybe some damage buffs, and Diluc can pop off.
Interesting. No calcs, as far as I can tell, on the Manaro side. Would have been a shoo-in in my head for that deck. Just being able to use Diluc Burst on one energy, pretty much.
Yeah, I think kind of for a deck that wants to burst as fast as possible, you kind of want it, right? Now, as expected, Bennett goes down here, but Bennett ult is still up for Klee.
Yeah, but there is Hydro on Klee and a Diluc Burst available, so unless Resin Q can just put out 7 damage here on the spot, I don't know how this game is going to continue.
Considering the cards in hand, I don't think so.
Ooh, dice fixing also not going that well. Does in the end get 4 effective Pyro dice, but would probably have liked a bit more.
There's dice fixing, but does that help?
Yeah. I think he was trying to look for no, actually doesn't. Pyro Resonance doesn't even do anything because he can't actually do a reaction anymore.
Floor press?
Yeah. Actually, yeah, that's probably it. And here comes the Diluc Burst for 11 damage. Yeet! And that's it. GG to Manaro, taking a convincing game here with 15 HP in total left and just with control pretty much throughout the game.
Yeah, I think the Klee player didn't expect the Mona to get down so fast, and yeah, that's the strength of Diluc decks, right? Actually, the strength of Mona, Bennett, and Diluc is getting that access to one-shot any character at any point. Your opponent usually don't expect that, so the Klee didn't play around it as well as I would expect, but then again, it's really hard to predict this kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Now, we are in another game.
Katzen Knecht versus Martin Z. Katzen Knecht obviously a big person, very active in the community, so and has participated before. And Martin Z going 4-1 last week, as far as I remember. So this is a high-level game, and we're joining it pretty late. As soon as the dice are gone, I might be able to analyze the current game state. Timmy's both going to proc next turn. That's rough. Because it seems like we might be finishing this game this turn. We have Freeze versus Overload Klee. It seems like he might be trying to get official out here. It does get frozen though, and there's enough. Like there's one rain sword left, and enough dice to attack again. So I don't think you really want to switch to Klee here. Puts down the gamblers.
Yeah, it's ends turn with 5 dice.
That's tough. Also, if Martin has a resonance dice at this point, I think Klee goes down to 1 health.
Ending your turn with like 5 dice is pretty rough, but considering the situation, I think this is definitely the right play. You don't want to switch into Klee and then let Klee get attacked, considering Martin Z still has 5 dice, still has option for that crackback.
Switches to Ayaka, yeah?
Ayaka does have burst.
Does he have Northern? Nah, just bursts. And, wait. That is enough if you have a resonance dice, yeah. Or Northern Smoked Chicken, for that matter. Because the burst it deals 2 damage in the end phase. So there's the Xingqiu. Yeah, that's just... Okay, seems like he's going to end his turn there.
Xingqiu is just you tank whatever Klee is going to do.
Yeah. I don't really see how he turns this around, especially considering he does not have like any healing food or anything. I think this might be it. Ayaka Free is like very little nerfed. Like the only thing that really got nerfed about Ayaka Freeze is Meat Rules is gone, which is definitely an important nerf to it, but like it's still like almost at full power. It used to be one of the most powerful decks before the patch. Gets extra draw power. Doesn't seem to really get him out of it though.
Yeah, I don't think that's enough.
Automatic switch to Chongin. And that should be that. Martin Z taking game 2. The game in round 2. Making him 2-0. And yeah, we're seeing a lot of games end here. Carano being able to win his second game, so he's now 1-1. But yeah, Klee kind of getting a bit of a comeuppance here in both games.
Well, Klee is still a pretty new character. People are still experimenting with it, so. Yeah, maybe we just still haven't found that one Klee deck that's very strong.
Yeah, or maybe we haven't yet. We just haven't really seen the correct circumstances for it yet. I think the problem with Klee for a lot of players is Klee ultimately needs a lot of setup and does not deliver results immediately. Like we saw it against D-Luke. D-Luke, as soon as you get 3 energy onto him and pretty much just maybe like put a Wolf's Gravestone on him or something, he's ready to take out characters immediately, like on the spot. Whereas Klee is a lot more, oh, I need to use my E, so I have my charge attacks, but then I also I need to have like equal dice to use the charge attack, but I can also use my ult, but my ult only deals the damage after, and only when they want it, when they use a skill, it deals damage. Like, there's a lot more variables there, and it seems like people are still having a bit of trouble working around that.
Yeah, I mean, Klee still. I mean, again, the meta is still developing. Maybe we'll see a resurgence of other decks that Klee is good against. Maybe because the meta is still pretty fast, and they can prevent Klee from getting that good setup. But at the same time, in the right matchup, I think Klee would do pretty well if she has that opportunity to set up the elemental burst and the elemental skill charge attack shenanigans.
Trying to think what kind of shell would fit her maybe better. Honestly, I might want to see her in a Geo shell, like seeing like Ningguang, Lava Troll, Klee. The question at that point is Bennett just the better character for that situation? But being able to continuously apply Pyro is really good for the crystallizers, and I think maybe you can make something work with that.
Yeah, I mean, Klee's ult is definitely unique, being able to punish the opponent's character from using his skill. And it sticks, right? So you can't really just remove it. You have to, sooner or later, you're going to use 2 skills anyway, right? So there's some things you can do with it, and since it's dealing pyro at when your opponent moves is something we haven't exactly seen a lot of. So you can do like a lot of like application stuff there, but yeah, for now maybe we still haven't figured it out. I really want to see what Klee can do.
Yeah, I'm also not entirely sure if like Pyro Resonance in general is like the best thing because, as I said, like you need to wait, and like Pyro Resonance is an explosive deck that wants to have immediate results and like doesn't really have any way to sustain itself. So it burns out, it burns hot, but it burns very quickly. And I'm not sure if Klee is like the character to to utilize that.
Yeah, because well, Diluc exists. Diluc does that specific job better than Klee.
God, imagine if Klee just turns out to be worse Diluc. Don't, don't make me think about that.
Well, we've seen nerfs, but we have not seen any buffs, so who knows, maybe in 3.5 we'll get to see some buffs.
Or so. 3.5 Diluc is just going to be one of the best characters because everything else got nerfed.
Just like, I mean, yeah, I could definitely see that happening. I've seen other card games do that, so who knows? Maybe Diluc is going to be the best decks, and maybe there's going to be new cards that could. Maybe there's new cards released that works really well with Diluc. So who knows, right?
And we have the Daedalus here. Oh yeah, for the second game. Okay. So we have the new version of Overload. As I said before, I'm not entirely sure if working Klee into Overload is like the best decision, considering again, the opponents can essentially choose when to proc Overload. But you know, overall, it's still a very strong archetype. So
yeah, I mean, I see the idea, right? But problem is Klee's pyro application is only during when she moves, other than again the burst, which does take some time to set up. So unlike other overload decks where you can just trigger the overload right then and there, yeah, you have a lot of ways to set up the electro, but not exactly a lot of ways to trigger the pyro, except when Klee is your active character. So yeah, I don't know, it's pretty weird. I also kind of like seeing the Klee talent again for that more damage. You can use the charge attack mechanic twice. But at the same time, does Klee really want to stay on the board as the active character that long?
Yeah. And especially considering, like, I feel like the charge attack thing is really only necessary if you want to play her with, like, Xingqiu, because essentially what the charge attack is just, like, it's still a worse skill, and it costs the same as the skill, other than, like, you know, having to have specifically pyro dice. So as long as you have enough dice fixing, I feel like it's not really necessary to have the talent card.
Yeah, I'm not sure what. I mean, the talent is there's some benefits with it. Again, since it only costs 3, there's like, yeah, sure, you're cutting 2 cards for basically a better elemental skill. But yeah, usually you want to play around the charge attack when you have other cards and characters that play around normal attacks, like the Xingqiu, for example.
Or or Beidou.
Yeah, which honestly could maybe be a better fit.
Beidou. I feel like it would like using if it was good, people would use it right now because it's both the new characters.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad not seeing a lot of Beto. Beto's a bit clunky, I think. You know, the mechanic of the attacking after.
I feel like people are gonna get so good with Beto in like 3 weeks, but right now, yeah, it's still a little hard.
Yeah, I personally I want to see more Beto.
Mm.
I mean, the ult is like Yoimiya's burst. It's like Xingqiu's burst, but for Electro. But it does take a lot of setup too. I mean, this is a burst that deals a lot of damage, but it costs 4 Electro dice and 3 energy. That's a lot of time to set up, just like Yoimiya's burst now. So maybe that's what's keeping her down. Maybe she gets buffed. Who knows? We get to see more of her, or maybe we get to see more Electro-centric normal attack decks. So yeah, speaking of which, I think we are ready to hop on to the next round. Round 3 is starting soon. And then I believe we have a match coming up.
Alrighty, we have Klee again, apparently, with Talent Card. We are dropping right back with yeah, this is just not Martin Z, the other one, from the previous round. Let's see here. Yeah, it's Katzenknecht. Yeah, against Pecky from round 1 with the Sino deck. Again, starting on Ganyu here. We'll see what his game plan is this time. Is it still just to
charge attack first turn?
Yeah.
Oh,
we keep going. This time though into official. I'll be honest, that's not that much pressure, so you might even be able to keep his Ganyu alive. Just use a skill, or just use Paimon into Liban and just end turn there. Yeah, a lot less explosive of a deck, and I guess you don't get punished as hard for doing 6 damage like right off the get-go. I said not punished as hard, not punished at all. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, Overlord surprisingly deals a lot of damage. Like, suddenly just half your health is missing.
Yeah.
That is... Sometimes you don't see that coming. Oh, we have... Oh. Do we have double perspective?
No.
Oh.
But yeah, switch into Xingqiu for free. So you might be able to start setting up there. Problem is he's already applied with Electro from Oz, so he's going to be gone quickly as well. But hey, he at least gets the start of the turn with 10 dice.
Xingqiu doesn't have the opportunity to set up with normal attacks, but the Hydro from the elemental skill does cleanse.
I forgot about it. That certainly puts a spanner in the wrench, or just whatever you call it. Throws a wrench in the system. That's it. All of a sudden, Xingqiu is able to just use another elemental skill. Has four dice left. Will be able to burst this turn.
Yeah, and that's
I don't
last
think
turn coming in clutch.
Katzenknecht has Leave It to Me, so he could technically do a quick switch. And no, wait, there's no Pyro applied as well. I thought Klee just applied Pyro again. Oh, another elemental skill. Another elemental skill. Damn.
You're rolling some good dice, Pecky.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, Xingqiu actually really good into that. I don't think I've ever really seen a Xingqiu into Overload matchup go like this way, but it definitely makes sense.
Yeah, oh, we do have the double perspective here.
Ooh, nice.
Wow, plus the Vestas Companion. That must have been a lot of Omnis or a lot of Hydro dice, considering he used like, what, 9 Hydro dice in a single turn?
Freeze as well, so no opportunity to set up Oz again. Is going to switch over back to Klee, and I think Pecky will want to finish his turn here. I don't really think there's anything else he can do other than maybe switching. but I don't think really it's a great idea either. Is running the Timmy. I wanted to sort of talk about that a bit because like I really don't think Timmy is that great in decks that don't last a long time. Like I think you can play Timmy in things like Hydro Resonance decks, in Animo Control, where you're going to go to turn 4 or 5, so you kind of guaranteed to get the payout. In decks where you essentially run like no healing and are trying to like blast out your ults as fast as possible, like with Electro Resonance decks, if you draw a Timmy on turn 2, it's a dead card already.
Yeah, you definitely want to activate Timmy as fast as possible. Usually round 1 and maybe round 2, right? So when Timmy doesn't come that fast, he's basically a dead card, and that's like in even in slower decks you want them as early as possible. So I don't know, I'm not actually a big fan. I used to think Timmy is like a really good card, but now as time goes on, we've seen a lot of faster decks, and I'm not sure if Timmy can be used to keep up. Considering that one slot of Timmy can be another card, opportunity cost, right?
Let's be real. Like you are essentially only going down one card for 2 turns, and then get that card back as well. So it's not like it really depends on how much you actually need your cards as well. Like if you have a lot of draw power or have a lot of or don't really need your cards that much, or more of a skill based like skill in terms of like character skill based deck, it's maybe even okay to just have Timmy, because you can just throw Timmy out of your hand and you don't really feel the impact. But if you really need to draw like the correct cards to go off, drawing Timmy instead sometimes just breaks your neck.
Going back to the game for a bit here, we see the official actually getting the Gambler proc and getting Oz down on the board. But Pecky's Sino is still very healthy. So,
yeah.
Not sure what Katzen can do.
I wonder if Katzenknecht. I did not really see if he had energy generation cards in hand. If so, like we might be able to see official burst this turn, and that could be that could be crushing.
Okay, Sino has that one elemental charge and that last proc of the Rain Sword. I don't know, it's looking kind of rough for
dire.
here.
Yeah.
Trying to dig for more options.
Kalxart? Is he going to try and official burst here?
Yeah, does official burst do anything even?
I mean, what else are you gonna do? Is my question. Yo, goodbye, Timmy. You're getting tuned.
You've done nothing, but your effort will be remembered. Official
yeah,
burst.
Pecky gets to end turn first. Katzenknecht ends as well. We're going to see the Ozproc, but like other than that, I'm not entirely sure how you're going to come back from this. I need to see the hand. If there's like double Electro Resonance and you can actually get a Kaching Burst out, then we might be able to talk here. Then we might still actually see the victory for the Klee player. But I personally, I don't think there was enough energy generation for that. Oh, I am seeing even through the tiny window in the top right, we are seeing that there is I haven't lost yet. So maybe there's still a chance. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kaching Boost would just end the game? No, would leave Sino at 1, right?
Yeah, it would deal 4.
Yeah. And he still has 8 dice as well, so I think either way it's a bit of a lost cause.
Electro. that is a hydro application still on the catching, so whatever Sino does here.
He has loads of Flower Crisp, though. Does have one energy generation? I don't think that's enough. It's going to hide the I haven't lost yet.
Catching can survive an extra hit? I wonder if does Pecky have Leave It to Me? Oh no, it's just going to burst. One damage off, but I think that's it. Even if... Oh, wait.
He can only skill, so he can only take out Sino, but there's still 4 dice left on Pecky's side and no defending the Kaching here, so we just need to see Ganyu normal attack, and that should be that. Actually, he wants to finish it with a charge attack.
Okay, you're BMing. At this point, you're BMing. Come on,
with
bro.
the Talon card as well.
Come on.
Oh, I love it. Despite everything, it only deals 3 damage.
Well, what's wrong with it?
Oh! Oh boy.
No idea what's going on. Is it... Sorry.
Okay, we just got boofed. But yeah, that's the win for Pecky. Taking another victory. That Sino deck working out for him. Oh, your camera turned off.
Yeah. No, my camera's a bit...
Alrighty.
Still...
Oh boy.
I'm going to fix that.
Yeah.
While we fix that, we're going to have a short break.
Yeah, let's do that. See you for the next round, and yeah.
And I believe we are live again. Sorry, guys, for the small technical difficulties. I don't know what happened to my camera there, but it is now fixed. Hello, you can see me again.
Yeah, waifu is indeed still alive, hasn't been hacked to death.
Thankfully, yeah. Now, the third round still has not started yet. Some players are still in their matches, so we still have time until round 3 starts, so we can talk about. Oh, wait, yeah, round 4. Sorry.
Yeah,
So we still have time to talk about stuff, and we're going to see the round 2 standings. And okay, I'm the Asian guy. I'm not really familiar with the European players. Who's the top players? Who's like,
yeah.
you kind of have to fill me in on this.
Other than Manaro, I know the other players, and I don't know everyone who's participated. Like I've not been part of the first two EU tournaments, so I don't necessarily know. But like yeah, Kevin Z won the last one. We have a bunch of 4-1s from last week in 2-0 right now as well. It's kind of cut off right now, but Carano also made it to 1-1. I saw that earlier. But yeah, Kenki's still going strong.
Oh, seems like the nerf wasn't enough. Maybe. No,
Well,
I would like to mention a little bit because we have a time limit now. It's 35 minutes. So if your game isn't done by the time limit, it will go to a tie. Now that does affect your standings, but that means like there's a chance like we get to see technically 5 wins, but maybe it's just like 4 wins and 1 tie. So I don't know.
I'm not gonna let that stand as a 5-0. Kenki doesn't get away with it for me.
Yeah, if it's a tie because both players are playing Kenkis or playing control text, then yeah, I don't think it deserves to be called a 5-0. But we do need a winner at some point. Considering how many participants there's a high chance we get to see a 5-0, but there is still also a chance that we don't get to see a 5-0 at all. So, let's wait and see what players are doing.
Kenki has plummeted in representation, but I actually don't necessarily think that's like. To some extent, it's indicative that like yes, his power level went down. He's a lot less like explosive there early on. He doesn't do like he can't really choose who he applies his elements to anymore. It's a decent sized nerf, but I think it just brought him in line with other characters because he was that over the top before. He can still apply 2 elements. He still has a really good resonance to pair it with. He just has to play a little slower now, I think. And we're seeing him. Kevin Z is bringing him in a superconduct shell with electro resonance, and it seems to be working out pretty well for him.
Yeah, I think the Magukenki nerfs does tune him down a bit, but there's still the fact that Magukenki does have access to two types of elemental reactions, does have that pretty powerful elemental burst with the right setup, and he's still a monster. So if you want to run a deck with the abyssal summons, Magukenki is still, I think, the best pick, other than maybe a Rodea. So yeah, there's still decks that utilize Magukenki really well. Still is going to utilize him the best. But Magukenki just doesn't like. You can just slot Magukenki into any deck and call it a day anymore.
Interesting. On the match side, it still says Manora hasn't won yet, but we know he has won because he's 2-0.
Yeah, we just haven't checked in.
Oh wait, no, never mind. We're after round 3 now. Never mind.
Oh, yeah, it's round 3.
So yeah, Alradaman and Martin making it 3-0. Manora still waiting on potentially a 3-0 here. Other than that, we got Gigi shooting up after having lost round 1, I think. I forget who they lost round 1 to, but like a decent player. I remember that much. Kevin Z lost one. Let's go! Kevin Z lost.
Okay. That's a bit rude. Come on.
I'm sorry. I just. Can we have
You did.
one? Can we have one week where like he's allowed but isn't winning?
Yeah, I mean, hey, he lost to El Rado, man.
Let's
So
go. Actually, I haven't checked what Elrado's bringing this week.
yeah,
Obviously, going 4-1 last week as well is bringing Klee, Ben, and Singcho. So I feel like compared to like bringing it with Mona, it's a bit more of an aggressive version of the Power Resonance Klee deck. Um, One problem I sometimes see with like bringing Bennett and Singcho is just like by the time, like I guess you can set up Singcho old and then just sit on it and then set up Bennett old after, but like you rarely have access to both buffs. Is what I'm trying to say.
yeah. I mean, I like this variation better because instead of getting utilizing Klee as an like an FTK tool like Diluc, you can use her as more focused on the normal attack and charge attack mechanic. Singcho's elemental burst does synergize with normal attack, so getting that charge attack plus the Singcho burst, dealing that vaporize does deal a lot of damage, and it's more consistent, I think. So I like this variation better, but it does take a lot more time to set up to get that one or two pop-off turns instead of Mona being there as like a consistent character. You know, the access to the fast swap is really good. But with Singcho, you don't have that access to that. And yeah, I guess it's like a trade-off between if you want more consistency versus more, I guess, more survivability. Should I say? With
Yeah,
Mona?
like that's sort of the problem. I mean, I'm always amazed as to how like even the smallest things from the actual from actual Genshin translate into the TCG, and Klee is just like squishy, like very squishy, very easily dealt with if you leave her exposed for too long. So you really kind of need to play around her, shift around, and I presume you can still do that with Bennett. I think what this is going to maybe look more like is less of a Bennett sets up Klee, and rather Singcho sets up Klee and Bennett. So Bennett is actually also going to probably take advantage of the Singcho burst as well, and it's more you're not pivoting around Mona, you're pivoting around Bennett more.
Right, yeah, I mean, Klee is usually the star of a deck usually built around Klee, but getting that second option of making Bennett the carry is still a viable strategy, just in case if Klee gets taken down, considering Klee is still very squishy, still very vulnerable. She wants to carry, she wants to be the active character and deal a lot of damage, but at the same time she doesn't want to take that much damage, so yeah, Klee is very hard to use, and I think the Singcho variant can alleviate the risk by making Bennett as a potential secondary carry. So yeah, I personally I like the Singcho version more.
Okay, round 4 bracket is not out yet, as we're still waiting actually on Penny versus Filzo to conclude. Not sure. When did this round start?
I believe it's one round takes 35 minutes, and there's like 5 to 10 minutes in between. Should be ending soon.
Let me check the tournament chat when. Yeah, actually should be. I think the round is only like 20 minutes old at this point, considering we got a check-in reminder 23 minutes ago. So check-in wasn't even closed at that point for the round. So I think we might need to wait a decent bit until we get our new games.
Yeah, but I think all the games should in practice last faster than Magu Kengi meta. So considering we see a lot of Klee, and usually Klee decks, they don't the games don't really last that long. Either you win fast or you lose fast. I also see only one animal control. So yeah, I don't think there's like a lot of control or stall decks. Yeah, sure there's freeze, but freeze can still deal quite a lot of damage. So yeah, at least the games will go fast. I'm glad.
Okay, I only just noticed that Kojo was yelling at me in chat 10 minutes ago, and I don't know what it was about.
I know what it's about, but I'll tell you later.
We'll leave it. We'll leave it.
Yeah.
All right. Tell me after.
Pass.
But yeah. I'm trying to think what we could talk about. I think one thing that is really interesting, like we still saw some Quicken in NA, but Quicken is pretty much gone in EU at this point, and it keeps going with the theme that like EU likes to experiment. EU doesn't like stability, doesn't like the old stuff, wants to jump on the new stuff immediately. And it has hurt a lot of characters. We only see 2 Colles. I mean, that's due to the Rec nerf, but you also only see 1 Kaching. Like, Kaching used to, as much as like it's sometimes a bit under the radar, used to be like one of the highest represented characters in the meta, and is now just like, yeah, we don't need you anymore. Goodbye.
Yeah, I'm actually quite surprised. I mean, we see Quicken won the whole thing in America, but Cole is nerfed. Maybe that's why people just want to experiment with a lot of the newer stuff now that Cole
No Terror Shroom whatsoever. I'm sad.
Yeah? That's a crime, by the way. Someone should at least use chicken. Come on, chicken representation. But yeah, there's like, we only have like 2 Denjo characters, so I think Cole will still see play. Because Denjo is pretty good elemental reaction. And while we wait for the next game, we have some decks that we like to showcase. This is the Mirror Maiden variant that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, with Electro Resonance.
Oh no, this is the Klee,
That's right,
Mirror Maiden, and Mona.
Yeah, sorry, with the Hydro Resonance. Sorry,
Yeah.
my brain went somewhere else. I don't know. But yeah, interestingly, outside of Hydro Resonance, not that much healing. We only we have no healing food whatsoever. I guess it's pretty much just like Hydro Resonance is just that good that you even run it if you don't want to run healing. And as far as I know, this is like a lot more of a Mirror Maiden focused deck with Klee as a support. Because it's sometimes a bit harder to apply enough Hydro without Xingqiu.
I mean, Mona can be the replacement since her elemental skill does deal 1 damage after the round ends, so it can, stick into a character that wasn't active before. But actually, wait, I want to mention something. With the other deck here, the Xiangling, Chongyun, and Xingqiu. I mean, we can see a little bit of Xiangling. I mean, personally, I like her. This is like a summon. No, it's not even a summon deck. You run 2 quick.
This is a Vape Melt deck, yeah.
Yeah, you run 2 Quick Knit while the only summon is Xiangling. That's interesting, I think.
I mean, Goba is strong, but yeah, it might be a bit much. We're seeing the Jade Chamber, like a lot of food. So I don't understand that deck too much. I'll be honest. It's a like, I guess it is trying to just survive setting up like both Pyronado and Raid Swords, and then just go to town with Chongyun. I feel like you're just making yourself a lot of trouble to set up Chongyun, who's at that point like very vulnerable because you don't really have that much defensive potential other than the Lotus Flower Crisp.
Yeah, I mean, there's some defensive options. Like, you see a lot of food here, but yeah, all Xiangling and Xingqiu both want.
It's actually only 3 healing foods. Sorry, 4 healing foods. The rest of the food is like minty. Actually, no, that's no.
It's
4 healing.
yeah, sorry, it's 4 healing and Lotus Crisp.
It's minty meat rolls, sorry, not Adeptus Temptation, Northern Smoked Chicken. Yeah, Adeptus Temptation. I'm not entirely sure if I like that deck too much. It does seem very volatile, and I don't know. It seems like one of those. Okay, this might be a deep cut. Have you ever been into Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah.
Okay, there's these channels in the Yu-Gi-Oh community that just don't talk about the decks they're running. They are just showing like replays from the matches they played online, and they're just like picking the biggest, the best ones where they do like the biggest combo turn one and just absolutely crush their opponent. It's like that's what it looks like. It's like when everything lines up, like yeah, it's crazy.
But that's like
You're not showing. But you're not showing the 16 times you had your Shungling sniped like turn 2.
Yeah, I see. Well, enough of that. We're into a game now. We got the, I believe it's a freeze. Oh no, sorry, it's the Yoimiya. Oh, we got Asphodylon's Yoimiya versus a standard Resonance Klee deck. Yoimiya, still pretty, I guess, still less representation, of course.
Yeah.
She's very nerfed, but you know, I still think that she's a good character. You know, the fact that you can just use that one dice just to stall is a good tool.
Like Asphodylon's 1 and 2 though. I mean, taking that Kirano like game 1, which kudos to him, but hasn't really been going that well since, and that's a lot of damage.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't think Yoimiya's doing any carrying this game. Oh, never mind. Is that enough? Maybe that's enough to get in the game.
Come on.
Yeah, I think you're forced to switch here, right?
He has 4 dice. To 0.
Yeah, he's switching. You know, I think you want Yoimiya to be at least alive to deal normal attacks.
Oh. Yeah, that was rough. I think we're setting up for 2 perspectives. But had a bit of trouble with that. Sadly, we don't get to see the game either. So let's maybe talk about the matchup a bit. Never mind, we're back.
We are back.
So when it comes to Pyro characters, I think, funnily enough, as much as he's like probably one of the most viable ones, the least talked about character often is Pyro Agent. And it's sad, because Pyro Agent does provide a lot in a package. He just doesn't have that great of synergies, but he provides like a lot of burst damage, really good survivability in terms of just being able to pivot over him, and I honestly kind of like him a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. We don't see Pyro Agent that much. I mean, we do see him early on when it was the Ayamiya metas, like way back when Magukenki wasn't available yet. We see like instead of the Ayamiya with Chongyun, we see Ayamiya with Pyro Agent as that option to deal that burst damage and to pivot, because since Pyro Agent's passive lets him tank quite a lot of damage, so having that defensive option and that 2 energy big burst out of nowhere is still pretty good. But yeah, I think he's just outclassed by every other Pyro character who does more, but I don't think any other character does his job better in at least other Pyro characters, which is like being able to tank a lot of damage and dealing quite a lot of damage as well.
Like the fact that it is so self-sustaining kind of hurts him a bit in terms of like building great synergies. He doesn't have normal attack synergy really. He doesn't have like he's hard to like for example when we talk about like one-shotting characters, like you have the characters that fit into other shells like so much better. Like Chongyun can one-shot people, Ningguang can one-shot people, Terror Shroom, Rodea, and they all have like much better elements to work with other characters than Pyro Agent really has. The only thing is like sort of the self synergy with Pyro Resonance to one-shot even harder, but that's not really doing that much.
let's see what Fire Agent can do. You know, still very healthy here. Maybe he can do a lot of things in this match specifically. I mean, okay, what does... Going back to the game a little bit, we have Resin Q still on the Mona, still active, and I believe the Bennett burst is up.
Playing double talent cards as well.
Not ideal, considering Bennett already bursted before getting the talent card. Happens.
Yeah. Like, I think Bennett's burst card is like pretty good, especially when you're playing around like a character like Klee that you actually kind of want to keep under wraps, like keep out of the firing lines. Before.
Yeah, taking down the Singcho here, but Singcho has already ulted, so
yeah, he got his value.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like Singcho's like we talked about Ganyu like dying way too early earlier, but like Singcho's allowed to die because he stays on the field regardless, you know?
Yeah, as long as that burst is up and you can use that burst on other characters pretty well, and that's Singcho's value. That's his job basically. And yeah, we see the Rain Source doing a lot of work. Wait, no, that was a
skill.
Sorry.
And that's again what I was talking about, like, you know, Power Agent not having normal attack synergy really doesn't deal enough damage with his normal attacks, and yeah, doesn't really work with Singcho too well. Doesn't work with other characters well either. Doesn't work with Minty Meat Rolls when that was like big. Like Chongin was able to work with Minty Meat Rolls. That's like one of the biggest things why Chongin was like the preferred candidate. That he was essentially able to play the same combo as Ayaka, just with a bit more setup from a skill.
I mean, Chongyun does still have more damage, like more threat, but yeah, I mean, I guess that's why Fire Agent's not seeing that much play anywhere else. I'm not sure if we see Pyro Agent in other variants of like other Pyro decks. I believe, like you don't see like Bennett, Mona, and Pyro Agent. You see it with Diluc or now Klee. Yeah, I don't think there's like a deck where Pyro Agent really shines. And even in a deck where he is in, he's usually not the star of that deck.
Yeah, I feel like there's going to be a character one day that works like really well with Pyro Agent and brings him completely, you know, like breaks him, kind of.
You know, Child.
Yeah.
So Genshin, GITCG, synergize with the Fatsuri.
Jumping on the bar like a jackass.
Come on. I know you can make something like that.
Iona totally wouldn't like Child, would she?
Yeah.
That seems like a character combination that doesn't work.
Like lore-wise, it worked. Kinda.
Iona and Child? Do they have like a connection that I don't know of?
No, I mean Pyro Agent, sorry. And Pyro Agent.
Oh yeah. Child and Pyro Agent, yeah, for sure.
Like there's like Fatui synergy or something.
Yeah. Honestly, that could be fun as well. Eventually, like giving characters sort of like archetypes that you can build around as well. Maybe not quite as crazy as like Yu-Gi-Oh did it, where like archetypes run the game nowadays. But like, it is more important what name your card has than like most other things about it. But yeah,
I mean, there's still a lot of design spaces, right? You know, the like Mondstadt synergy or Liyue synergy, or like weapon types. Yeah, sure. There's like weapons that maybe like if you run your whole team is like holding catalyst user, you get a bonus or something. No, there's something there, you know, something to think about for Hoyo.
Yeah. Rather than Q trying to wrap up the game here, that's a lot of damage.
7 damage, but not enough to take down Mona.
And yeah, Mona still has burst.
Resin Q does have the priority for next turn because of that.
Unless he wants to switch now, in which case he'd be on Klee with Hydroplite on the Pyro Agent as well. Which might not actually be the worst idea, considering. There's only one Rain Sword left as well. Asphodylon, he already used one of... Actually, he used both of the Pyro Resonances already, right? One on Bennett, like relatively early, I'm pretty sure, and then one right here to chunk Mona down.
Okay, I remember the first one. I don't remember the second one.
Okay.
Was that Pyro?
How else are you going to do 7 damage on a Mona with the shield up?
I mean, Vaporize procs, so like that's 5 plus 3. Wait, Pyro Agent burst deals 5.
And there's a shield, and it deals 7 damage. Okay, I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, that's Mono taking out the Pyro Agent with the Bennett buff as well. Heals up to 3 as well. Eesh.
Now Mona has to carry this. Oh, the Mona burst is there. Is that enough to protect Yoimiya?
Goes up to 7 health, so I think it's barely enough. But I don't think enough to like survive the turn, if that's what you're asking. Or actually no, he's gonna survive the turn.
It might be enough because if that's 3 from Elemental skill, Mona burst doubles that to 6.
Doesn't have a lot of tuning as well though. So,
5 dice, only enough for one attack.
Yeah, I sometimes forget just how much damage Mona adds to something. Oh boy. That's 7 through Lotus Crisp. That's 10 damage just like with an elemental skill.
Well, we did talk about Klee's one-shot.
Mona, you have to stop.
Well, that is sadly another loss for Yoimiya.
Yeah.
Yoimiya did get nerfed quite a lot. Asphodylon trying to make it work, but it seems like it's not working out for him quite well. I hope you find success in the next game. But for now, yeah, it seems like the Klee deck coming out superior, representing one of the many Klee decks we have in this tournament. Actually, do I have a stat on how many Klee decks I have? Actually,
that's 9 Klee decks. Let me actually see. I'm actually going to quickly Control F Klee and see who of those are doing really well right now. Eldorado Man on Klee. Resin Q we just saw winning. Dizen is on Klee. Wanderer is not doing too well as far as I remember. Dareik, Katzenknecht, Mevis, and Yos. Yeah, I think it's pretty much Eldorado Man, Dizen, and Resin Q who are really bearing the torch of Klee here.
Well, maybe the Shang-Chu variant is the way to go. Seeing that Eldorado Man's bringing it and he's doing the best out of everyone else.
But it just be Kevin's V as well. Actually, no, that was round 3. Never mind. Give me a moment. Going over to round 4. Rodoman is still in game against Penny. Actually, I haven't checked. What is Penny bringing?
My favorite. You know what it is.
Do I? Oh no, it's Temple Animal Control. No wonder the game isn't done yet.
It'll take a while. Well, the thing, I think Klee decks have a slight edge over Double Animo since you can just one-shot one character, you know? All that healing doesn't matter if you're just dead on one attack.
Yeah, I suppose. But you only have 2 Pyro Resonances, so...
Yeah. Just draw the out forehead.
Alright, we're seeing the 2 deck lists here. Let's see. Oh, Guardian's Oath plus Sendoff. Asphodylon still. Sorry, Asphalon with
Wait.
OE. Okay, there's no D. Okay, fair enough. Nope, there is a D.
Okay. Fought a lot.
Yeah, bringing a lot of token removal. That is interesting to me. Probably expecting. I mean, Quicken was still running around in America. We still have Fischl running around. Magu Kenki. Like, I feel like in a couple weeks, Send-Off is going to be a very good card again. Once people are like over the fact that, yeah, you can still play the old decks, and yes, Yoimiya is, yes, Kole is still good, and yes, Magu Kenki is still good. Like, as soon as people get over that, I think Send-Off and Guardian, maybe Guardians. I actually don't think Guardians over is going to be that good, but like Send-Off is going to be a good card again, and that's going to be interesting. But right now, people are just not willing to play that. They want to play the new stuff. They want to play Klee, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I see the idea. I mean, Asphodon is trying to make Yoimiya work. Yeah, and by the looks of it, he's trying to make Yoimiya as the carry with that Raven Bow in the deck there. Yeah, signaling that Yoimiya is trying to get a lot of normal attacks off, trying to get as much damage as possible with the Xingqiu burst. But yeah, other than that, something unique here. I'm seeing a lot of like one-offs, like one Leven with one
Chang the
parametric.
Ninth. Like in the Xingqiu deck, you want to play 2 Chang the Ninth, right? There's like no way you don't.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's a star sign there for like the energy.
One star sign, one Liesu. But it feels like, you know, the kind of deck building that comes from like, oh, I can't decide. Oh, what am I gonna do? Oh, let me just run one of both. You know.
Yeah, I mean, just draw it at the right time, I guess. Yeah. I like this take. I mean, I can see it working. This take of Yoimiya. I just think that, yeah, you're trying to do a lot of things at the same time, and I don't think that's like it's not as consistent. Like, yeah, you got like the 2 Lotus Crisps, but other than that, you don't have much food. But you have the NRE to draw that Lotus Crisp specifically.
Yeah, like running NRE with this little food. I mean, sometimes people just do that, so essentially they draw exactly the food that they want. But
yeah. Usually, like people with NREs, either they run the specific food they want, or you run as many food as they can to like out.
Sweet Madame as well. I didn't realize.
Oh yeah, there's like 5 food with NRE.
Yeah. All right, let's actually quickly take a look at Resin Q's deck. Oh, never mind, we're done.
Never mind, we are looking at the round 4 standings.
Yeah, Aradaman Penny still not done. But yeah, we got Martin Z going up to 4-0, beating Manaro.
And then we watch a couple of games from Pecky. Now he has 3-1. Pretty good record so far.
I wonder, are Kevin Z and Martin Z related in any way?
I mean, Z is a cool letter, so maybe he just had the same idea when making the similar username. Or maybe they just planned it out. Maybe they'll have the double Z in the finals. That probably wouldn't happen.
Yeah, that's going to be a real sleeper.
Yeah, but you know, maybe that's the dream. Maybe they were planning it all along. We'll meet in the finals.
Yeah, and then we'll take a nap.
And then we will get tired of talking.
Nah, I'm just making a joke with disease.
Oh my god, sorry. Catching a lot of Z's.
Yeah. Pecky going up to 3-1 now. Quickly fell out of the top spots after round 2, but is back up there now after picking up wins in round 3, as we saw, and round 4 now as well. Who did he take out? Rin. Okay, that's cool. As we're about to jump into our last round, It seems like it's only going to be like if Alradomel loses here, Martin Z is the last person who can go 5-0, and will have to defend that in the last round as well. So we might see our first tournament without somebody going 5-0.
Yeah, it's possible considering the participants, which is actually, I want to mention that a little bit. Usually Europe has like the least amount of like participants out of all three regions, but this time, well, it's more than usual, if I remember correctly. Usually we have like
last week we had 21 players, now we have 24, so a bit of an uptick.
Yeah.
Which is good because like we have experienced like, and as is expected, honestly, a bit of a downturn after launch. Like people coming in, checking it out, maybe playing one tournament, and then sort of dropping out. We also had like a big sponsorship relatively early on, so that set expectations a bit high. Now we're back down to earth, and now we can start building really the scene.
Yeah, I mean, there's still like 5 more weeks. Right, actually 4 more weeks of tournament and the major. So yeah, I guess there's still time for it to grow more and more. I hope to see it grow. Like it could be like 30 plus participants. I really like what Europe's brewing. They're usually brewing the weird stuff, the unique stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the Wild West. So yeah, I hope we see more players and therefore more weird decks. Anyway, I think there's going to be quite some time until the round 5 starts, so we are going to take a short break. We'll be back when the round 5 matches is ready to start, and guess we'll see you soon.
Yeah, don't go anywhere.
And we are back, and back straight into a game, and it seems like a very familiar deck. The one and
It's
only
Pecky.
Pecky's Sino deck.
Pecky's back. Up against Maro. So sadly we don't get to see Martin Z. It's kind of sad. Like both Martin and Kevin Z are not able to stream. So a lot of the times we don't actually get to see the highest the highest level players actually playing. But this is still pretty hype. We got Pecky and Manaro both at 3-1, fighting for a 4-1 spot.
Yeah, we see Pecky doing pretty well, especially with such I would say unique deck with a Sino carry deck with Ganyu. That actually running the Favonius library and the J Chamber both, trying to really fix your dice here with the double toss up in hand.
Yeah, there's often the thing you have to do with these multiple dice decks. You can't really rely on rolling for one dice, so it's really difficult. And at the same time, very often you don't really want to you don't really want all the dice, because you're most likely only going to use 1 or 2 characters per round. You also don't get resonance dice, which often help so much in resonance decks.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense specifically with Ganyu, since she wants 5 cryo dice, but yeah, instantly gets punished here. Does get the 2 charge attacks off, which is crucial. That's a lot of damage. Bennett and Mona both at 5 health now, but
you look frozen.
Yeah. Oof.
This is a good start.
Ganyu did a lot already, so Ganyu taken down here isn't that detrimental to Pecky.
Yeah, Ganyu got her value this time.
Yeah, Xingqiu and Sino still pretty healthy.
Also, really good setup. We no one on Manaro's side other than Bennett currently can even survive a Sino normal attack due to the So it is going to be difficult to maneuver around for the Manaro, and Pecky once again showing up with. We laughed at it at the start. We didn't laugh, but we questioned it at the start, and he's just showing, no, Sino is still good. You just need to sacrifice a lamb.
Literal sacrificial lamb. Sorry, Ganyu. We only have 1 lamb character in this game.
Well, I guess goat.
Close enough.
Yeah. Coco Gauntlet, remember? Oh god. No. I must resist the urge to pun.
You've done quite a lot already in this stream, so I mean you can get 1 or 2 more off, but
yeah, we had one of the players who went 4-1 in America earlier today was Attila the Pun.
Yes, I know him.
I think I got infected by that. But yeah, Sino hasn't even hit the field yet, and Manaro's in trouble already. So we're gonna have to see. Of course, we do have Diluc. So as long as you can get any elemental application onto Sino, Diluc can just one-shot Sino. So there's still definitely hope for Manaro over here, but he is in a tough position.
Definitely the game plan here. Sino does want to sweep, but I don't think you have to go to Sino as fast as possible, since you have that Xingqiu elemental burst. You can do quite a lot of damage with Xingqiu alone here.
I'm gonna check in a second if there's gamblers. What's really important here is you kind of want to switch to Sino when Manaro already kind of ran out of mana. Ooh, Pyro Resonance. We're just seeing. Yeah, we're going to see Bennett take out Xingqiu. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That is 8 damage. Yeah.
7 damage, despite the shield. And yeah, Pyro Resonance does a lot. That's
Pyro.
always the thing. But now he's down to 4 dice.
That's the Gambler proccing here. Now
Yeah.
let's see if...
But Menor has exactly 4 dice. Is that enough? Bestest Companion. I mean, it should only do... Like, it should only do 9 damage, right? Yeah. Wait, he has a weapon. 10 damage.
Oh, yeah. Is that...
Oh my god, are we going to see the side of one-shot?
Oh, no.
No! Just does the skill. 4 damage. Sets it up.
Yeah. This guarantees that Diluc doesn't die outright.
Yeah.
And so that Manro does have priority for next turn.
Actually, couldn't he have...
Oh,
wait,
yeah,
no, because swords wouldn't have proc. I was thinking, like, could he have Star Signed? But yeah, Cincture swords don't proc if you do that, so you actually deal less damage there.
Oh, wait.
Ooh, Northern Smoked!
Wait, that might be it. You get 2 dice.
That's 2 dice back, yeah!
Yeah! And that's 3 dice to kill the Mona!
Damn, the sweep! That's...
Yeah.
Was that all in 1 turn? That was a 1-turn sweep, right?
Yeah, that was 1 turn.
Side OTK is back, baby!
Yeah, if I was in Maro's position there, I wouldn't even think about that play. So,
I mean,
yeah,
even if, like, you just, like, either he has it or he doesn't, like, there's no real way to play around it at that point.
Yeah, I mean, Diluc, you can only rely on Diluc at that point, and Diluc doesn't even deal enough damage to, and you don't have enough dice for it. So yeah, congratulations to Pecky there, coming in clutch with the Sino TK. Glad to see the deck coming back.
Yeah, is going to go 4-1, which is already a very good setup to make it to our invitational. Only one more performance like that, and he's in.
Yeah, pretty good showing here. He just needs to do well in one more weekly, and he's going to be invited to the major probably. Again, we still don't know.
And Pecky being the first one to finish the game, period.
Well, yeah, that was quite fast, honestly.
Yeah, that was explosive. Both players playing with, like, honestly, like, you know, Peggy's game plan was very simple. Just go Ganyu, then Xingqiu, and then Sino. Like, don't switch at all. Just use them until they're exhausted, essentially. Wring them dry.
Especially with that very early Ganyu charge attack. Getting it off twice is very crucial.
Yeah.
Now
we have another game.
We have another game, and is that a Kaya I see? It is a freeze.
It's Kaya Freeze. Katzenknecht versus Ren. I think that is, yeah, for 3-2. They're both 2-2 right now. So they're trying to get 3-2. 3-2 is still, like, if you win a tournament after, it's still enough to qualify you. Like, if you go 5-0 in another tournament, it's still enough.
Yeah,
so it's still somewhat relevant.
Yeah, every win matters at this point, right? You're getting as much win as you can. At least getting positive win rate. No, I don't know how this matchup would go. That is an overload cleave by Katzen, as we saw before, and we've seen it do some stuff, you know, forcing that overload, forcing the switch in. Maybe that will disrupt Rin's chances of trying to freeze, trying to apply that Hydro and Cryo. But at the same time, it is freeze. We've seen it a lot. We've seen what it can do. But without the Xingqiu, it doesn't have that much, like, explosive damage potential from like Ayaka and Xingqiu combo. So I guess it's like a more control, more a little bit more stall variant of the deck. But Ayaka still can deal quite a lot of damage. They just have to stop the overlords from happening.
Like, it's always been sort of a version of the freeze, just playing Kaya with Mona, just being able to do all the switching very quickly, being able to dish out a lot of damage that way. I'm not that big of a fan of it just because it does, like, it, as you said, doesn't have the same amount of Hydra applied, so it's less rarely actually freezing. But we're gonna have to see. I mean, at the very least, there is still Cryo Resonance, which can add a lot of damage as well. So it is maybe a bit more of an aggressive version.
I guess you just don't have what Xingqiu offers, which is that one big explosive turn with the Xingqiu burst. But this variant, it does seem quite a lot of success before. Well, as you mentioned, the Kaya and Mona synergy is actually really good, and I've seen quite a few variants of this deck running the Kaya talent, which is also more sustained for that long grind game, which I hope does not happen here.
I'd be shocked if this went very long, considering, as I said, we have a lot of damage potential on Rin's side, and I don't think we have to talk about like what GITCG can do in a very short amount of time.
You let her pop off. You let her deal that elemental burst one time, and it's pretty much GG most of the time.
Yeah, in this case, Rin is still pretty healthy. So even if like Kaching Burst were to come out like right at this very moment, I don't think it would end the game, but it would still do a lot. And he will have enough energy after this turn.
Yeah, crucially, Ayaka having that Aquila of Avonia here, tanking quite a lot of damage, and since the Klee is frozen right now, you can't force out the Ayaka to switch. So we have to wait until next round, so until Gatsun can do something about this Ayaka, which is pretty close to bursting.
Now, if I'm pretty sure you would play it in this deck, considering you want to switch a lot. If Rin has Leave It To Me here, he can actually go to Mona and freeze Kaching before she can get her ult off, which is huge in this scenario. So we'll see if that's going to happen.
Very possible considering how much cards in hand Rin has.
Even more. Oh, never mind. You just okay. You can also just do this.
Yeah, you can just out-sustain the Kaching. Well, Kaching's dead.
Yeah, exactly. You can also just Cryo Resonance boof. Klee deals 5 damage here. Is going to be vulnerable to Kaya though. Kaya can't really deal 4 damage immediately, other than through maybe a weapon. But even still, like, getting Klee low at this point, like Fischl is on 1 energy. I don't really think she's going to like save this game, so you kind of have to play it through Klee at this point. And it's tough to see that happening.
Send for the Paimon, just save up and trying to heal up the Ayaka. Okay. Yeah, Ayaka still has getting pretty low. Still has that ult. Would be a shame if she gets taken down before it happens.
Yeah. He's able to set up Oz here again, I guess. Only problem with that being it gives the free switch into Mona, which means it gives the quick switch into Ayaka next turn.
And Fischl crucially also has the Hydro already applied to her. So yeah, next round you can just switch to Ayaka, get that freeze, and either force Fischl to stay or switch to Klee, which threatens Klee to pretty much to be taken down, because 4 health is not a lot.
Yeah, there's a kill of Avonia as well, so an elemental skill is enough to just take her out outright. You might want to burst actually on Ayaka. Just get that down, freeze the official, and
Getting that insurance for next turn. Wow, you run Catherine in a moment. That's interesting.
Or even play Catherine if you can switch off Mona that easily either way. But play Catherine in this situation, not in general. As said, yeah, the deck relies a lot on switching. So
one thing to note is that Klee Burst is still active here, so maybe switching to Ayaka. Rin doesn't want Ayaka to get as low as he is. Getting 2 health is quite threatening. 1 more damage.
That is certainly possible.
Is dangerous. But yeah, you have 8 dice, and either you switch to Klee, which gets taken down. There's Catherine on board too, so you can just switch to Ayaka and threaten the damage. That is 4 damage from Ayaka. Or you just stay on Fischl and not do anything, which does feel bad.
Yeah. It seems like what's happening here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, never mind. I thought for a second he wanted to perhaps stall it out and set up a sweep with Klee. Seems like he's more likely trying to accomplish that next turn now. Get the I haven't lost yet. Parametric Transformer is down. Gamblers is applied. Like, perhaps we can see the Klee sweep, but I'm a bit skeptical considering how little health he has left on his characters.
Yeah, Rin knows that it's coming. Rin just has to play around it, I guess.
Yeah, there's the burst.
Set it up for this. That does take down the Fischl.
Did he add? Sorry, did he add cryo resonance or something? I don't really see how that. Oh, this takes it out.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, sorry.
Burst
I forgot Oz was a thing.
Yeah, unassuming Oz. That 1 electro damage does quite a lot sometimes.
He's a raven, thank you.
A burb. The best burb. Okay, I don't think.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, it's not enough, right?
No, it can't be, right?
Yeah, it's not
enough.
Yeah.
She just gets frozen, right?
Yeah, either she gets taken down or she's frozen. No matter how much dice you have, you don't have enough life for this.
Yeah, that's GG.
Damage.
Okay.
That is GG for Rin, going 3-2 with Kaya Freeze.
Yeah. Now only needs to win a tournament to make it to the Invitational. Even though that's tough. Like, that's obviously one of the things that's kind of scary about it. Like, with less participants, less players go 5-0. Because the way Swiss works, it pairs up like people with equal records. So the earlier people with the earlier we get to a point where people from with like an X and O record have to go up against people with an X and 1 record, the earlier where we stop seeing X and O players entirely, you know?
Yeah, I guess it's make it less likely for someone to go 5-0 because if you're winning, you'll get matched up with other players that are winning. So eventually, there's going to be a point where a winning player and a winning player, the one of them is going to lose at some point.
Yeah, exactly. And some of them are even playing just 4-1 players and are losing to those. Like, let me see. Martin done? Martin lost to El Rado, man, so we don't have a 5-0 player period this week.
Wow. That is quite surprising.
Actually, wait, El Rado was El Rado El Rado was also 4-0. Never mind. They were both 4-0 before this.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah,
I
Martin
did.
went 4-1, and Alvarado man actually winning the tournament with that.
Yeah, 5-0. Congratulations to Orado, man. But the tournament isn't done. We have to see how other players are doing. You know, every win counts. Especially players that are going 4-0 or going 3-1. There's a chance for them to go 4-1. Believe. Did we touch on? Right, we did touch on Eldorado Man's deck a little bit, right? The Singchu Klee deck.
Yeah. I think producers asking us if we just want to look at the top 4 list, and honestly, I think that might be a good idea. Just the only problem is we don't actually know everyone who's 4-1 yet.
Yeah,
Considering we still have some playing for it right now.
some are still playing, and I guess we can
Yeah, I
get.
think
We haven't talked about Martin Z's deck, I think. Even though it's based on what I'm looking, it's just standard Ayaka Singchu Chongyun classic freeze.
without actually with Minty Metros still just entering the tournament with essentially a 3.3 deck. I feel like freeze in general is less reliant on just doing the OTK, so just getting some free extra like normal attacks is just enough to pop off a bit. Is not playing gamblers at all as well, as far as I can tell.
So I guess more focus on like the freezing part rather than actually trying to kill. The one copy of NRE is interesting, I think. Usually want to run 2 of those. That maybe you think one is enough. So you can only draw, I believe, 4 food. Yeah, 4 foods out of it. 1 Catherine. You don't have Mona in this deck, so having Catherine, I see the value in that. You want to switch to Ayaka as often as often as possible because of that normal attack passive. And that seems like the standard Cryo Freeze deck to me.
Yeah. Let's look at the others. Very interesting, just how few cards are actually in. That's a Radoman's deck, right? With the Singcho, yeah. Just everything is a 2-off. You know exactly the 15 cards he wants to see in his hand at any given time, and just runs 2 of each of those. Just like, yeah, these are the cards I want. I want nothing else.
Yeah, that's basically that's how you want your deck usually, right? And to be as consistent as possible. I want to see these cards as often as possible, and yeah, usually the problems you get, like if there's like certain weapons, you draw out 2 weapons, that does kind of suck. You draw 2 talents as well, but yeah, considering it's only like 2 above Avonia, I mean, yeah, I kind of see I can see the reasoning here.
Yeah, like especially with explosive and combo decks, I think the going down to 15 individual cards is probably a really good thing, because you just sort of like you just want to see the right cards, right? It's like if you have a deck that goes longer, you actually include a bunch of like one-offs as like outs. So like if you want to, like if you're playing a stalling deck that can still run Adeptus Temptation, like the Sucrose Mirror Maiden deck, you run like 1 Adeptus Temptation, and you don't rely on like having 2 and drawing it turn 1. You rely on, oh, I'm gonna stall it out until turn 5 and then draw my one-off. You know, like
yes, yeah, and usually, but not a lot of decks are capable of getting to that point in the first place, and. Yeah, I mean, usually you want to run like 1 copy of like tech cards, right? I mean, I guess you can like run 1 Guardian's Oath, but usually in this meta, I can see you running 1 Send-Off, probably. I mean, we see Radovan running 2. I mean, I'm not sure if he's expecting more summon-oriented decks.
Yeah, I think it's going to become more relevant again. Like Ayaka is still out there doing her thing. We got Ganyu decks. Ganyu decks basically weren't touched. Still kind of lost in representation. I don't really understand why. I know. Also, to be fair, EU is not Ganyu's region. I've talked about it before. But Ganyu's still in the meta. You got Collei, I don't think Collei is dead. I think people are overestimating. The rumors of Collei's death have been greatly exaggerated. Magu Kenki, let me see. Is Kevin Z still playing? No, Kevin Z still is done and is 4-1. So yeah, Magu Kenki is still very much viable. Once the meta settles down, I'm pretty sure that send-off is still going to be a part of it, and probably even as a 2-off.
Yeah, I mean, I do see send-off being really important because other than usually you associate playing send-off with Magu Kenki, but if you have to think about it, there's a lot of other decks that use like crucial summons, like as you mentioned before, like Ayaka. You have Ganyu's burst. You have something like Sucrose and Jean's ult in the Anemo control matchup. Yeah, there's a lot of decks that you can use the send off on, but at some other decks the card is pretty much dead. So yeah, there's like the risk to reward kind of deal with running it.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Magu Kenki, we have Kevin Z's deck right on screen.
Yeah, it's somewhat hard to see what's a 1-off, what's a 2-off, but I think we can make it out. One send-off. Runs one Gamblers, interestingly. It is a Sino deck, so people are really experimenting with like what to do with Sino now that Yoimiya is done. Or like, at least, I don't think Yoimiya is very good with Sino anymore, let's say it like that. Because Yoimiya needs too much setup to work with Sino, who also needs a bunch of dice to get set up. Thank you for the little adjustment there. So we're seeing sort of. I feel like this is sort of the attempt to rebuild Kenki Geo, just sort of running a lot of Kenki, trying to get a lot of summons out, doing a lot of damage in the early game, and then having one unit like Noelle or like Sino in this case to just clean it up in the late game. Electro Resonance always has been great for Kenki as well, just being able to burst with two, you only need the 2 summons, so you put up 2 summons, you play Electro Resonance for 1 dice, and then you burst, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, usually you want to synergize Magu Kenki with decks that can either clean up or deal more AoE damage, and in this case, you have Electro does kind of a little bit of both because of Superconduct thing here. You can use Magu Kenki's cryo applications to deal and plus Fischl to deal a lot of AoE damage through Superconduct without actually committing a lot of dice yet, and Sino being there as a plan to just sweep all the low health characters on the opponent's side is very important in this strategy, because usually we have seen stuff before like Magu Kenki with Ganyu, for example, and Fischl, which does deal quite a lot of AoE damage, but if you don't have that one finisher in specific matchups, sometimes your opponent either out-heals you or they can crack back at you harder. So yeah, I like this iteration. I like seeing the Sino representation here. We got 2 Sinos in the top 4.
Yeah, Sino jumped up to actually, wait, no. Sino only had 3 decks entering, and 2 made it into the top 4.
Quite impressive.
Yeah, honestly. Sino really, like... I feel like Sino kind of fell a bit under the radar, even though, like, during the last week, we already saw him, like, pop off a lot. Overload did really well in the last week, when Kenki was gone, for that week. But yeah, Sino really didn't have, like, the best synergy with other characters. Like, he didn't really take advantage of Xingqiu as well as some other characters. But because of the nerfs that came through, like Yoimiya, no longer working with Ayaka, Minty Mead rolls not being necessary anymore, not being possible anymore, Sino's inherent capabilities as a sweeper really mean a lot more now. Like, Sino essentially can do a lot more damage in a sweeping turn than than Ayaka. It was just always enough for Ayaka to just deal the 5 damage with Yoimiya, but you can't do that anymore.
Yeah, and I think one other reason why Taino is pretty good right now is purely because he's Electro. I mean, if you see stuff like Ayaka and Yoimiya, sure, that does deal quite a lot of damage because of the melt reaction, but Sino is still very flexible, I think. You can do Super Conduct to deal more, and Hydro to deal more AoE. You see this, like you see in these two variations, but like we've seen before, stuff like Sino with Overload, still kind of like dealing a lot of damage while disrupting your enemy's plans. So yeah, I mean, there's still space for creativity for Scion decks, let's just say.
Yeah. And I feel like it's starting to crystallize that, like, you're not really trying to find the decks that are, like, have the most rigid, like, this is your 10-step plan to win the game type of decks. People are getting good enough nowadays to play decks that are a lot more flexible. And yes, Sino really works in that meta, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we're starting to move. I think, yeah, we see it starting to move away from decks that are like having that one specific game plan, like Ayamiya, for example, where you stack up that Yoimiya ult and then you sweep with Ayaka, and maybe
even Ayamiya didn't do that anymore at the end.
Yeah, I mean, we pivot more about decks that having more options, like what we see here. Like, you see Sino sweeping Ganyu's with Ganyu's AoE abilities. We see Magu Kenki's still pretty good at dealing the AoE damage, not as well as before, but the capability is still there with Sino. But even they can pivot around different strategies as the matchup, considering what matchups they're in. I mean, of course, we still see Freeze a lot. Freeze doesn't have like a one solid game plan. Like, sure, there's Ayaka there. Sure, you want to freeze, but winning isn't exactly like just popping Yoimiya ult and then normal attacking with Ayaka. There's still stuff to do around that. So yeah, I'm starting to see a lot of improvements from the overall player base, which is good. I like this. Maybe we can see more and more quality games later on in later tournaments. And I'm excited personally.
Yeah, same honestly. We're going to see Asia for me tomorrow morning. For other people, maybe tonight. I don't know. It's happening at 7 a.m. European time tomorrow, or like Central European time. That is, let me quickly do the maths. That is 15 and a half hours from now.
Well, there's still time for if the players in the Asia tournament, you want to study up the decks that are used in the Europeans, specifically all the unique decks. I mean, to be honest, all of them except the Freeze deck are quite new.
Yeah, like that's the thing though. Asia was always like the fortress of Freeze, and I feel like not much has changed about the Freeze decks, and especially Ganyu Freeze, which like originated there. I think I'm not entirely sure, but like was very much like the most played over there. So I'm gonna see if we're just gonna see like half the field be Freeze decks at this point.
Yeah, I mean, considering Freeze didn't really get hit, okay, maybe the Minty rolls, but you don't actually have to run that. Some Freeze decks opted out from running the Minty rolls.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think Freeze is still quite strong, and Asia is usually I hate saying this, but usually the try-hard region. Usually people are running decks that are more serious and, more trying to win, so maybe we'll see a lot more, I guess, defined meta, to say. Yeah, and, well, I'm casting tomorrow, casting on the Asia tournament too, so I guess I'll get to see it soon.
I envy you, but I couldn't get up that early this week anyway.
Well, the time matches up for Europe in my time now, but
I,
I don't know if I can do
I
it.
I like that we're mixing it up though. Like that like we're not just like, oh, Asia tournament's on Friday, Europe tournament is on Saturday, and America tournament is on Sunday. We mix it up so like people who can usually only play on Saturday can play in their region. You know, at least every so often. We're also mixing up the timers and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad this is a thing now that we implemented. You know, some players can't. They're busy on Fridays, so they can't play, or maybe their weekends are full. So yeah, I'm glad to see. So they can at least maybe get 2 or 3 tournaments off, and still have a chance of getting into that major.
Alrighty.
So since all of the rounds has ended, and it has been the stream has been going on for quite a while now.
Let me see if we have any other players. Last thing of the last word of the day. Do we have any other players making it to 4-1? Nope. Only. Oh wait, this just hadn't updated for me. Let me update quickly. Yeah, no, just the 4. Okay. Neva's actually making it to 3-1-1.
The tie being there.
Yeah, but the timer, yeah. Yeah.
No, that's why we had it. That's why it's implemented, so we don't have like 40-minute games of.
The thing is, though, I don't necessarily think that was his fault, because he's playing Mona Clee Bennett. I think the other side was like Jean Mona or something.
Oh yeah, it was the Jean Mona official, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm not
Anyway,
sure long, but yeah.
Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for playing. Thanks to Kojo for guiding us through this whole mess.
Thanks, Kojo.
I shouldn't call it a mess. Why do I call it a mess? I don't know.
Don't forget, if you want to join the tournament, or just get any of your Genius Invocation TCG content, you want to hang out, so we're always here at discord.gg/invocation. That's invocation with the K. And also don't forget to follow our Twitch channel at GITCG. We're getting these weekly tournaments, 3 regions every week, and up until the final week of the patch, which is going to be the major, which is going to be exciting, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And if you guys want to join up, you can always just join on the Discord server. There's like the tournament channel. You can just sign up through there.
Yeah. Really welcoming community, and yeah, we're waiting for exactly you.
Yes, you specifically. Alright, so I guess that's it from us. You wanna outro, Luis?
I feel like we kind of said everything that needs to say in an outro. Thanks for watching, and see you in 15.5 hours for the Asia tournament. Bye!
Bye!